Hi everyone, my name is Lisa O'Hagan and I am the Assistant National Conservator for Preventive Conservation at the National Trust. In this brief talk, I would like to take this opportunity to highlight some positive outcomes or silver linings, if you will, that I personally feel have come from working through a pandemic. I understand that this has been an incredibly difficult time for everyone, and I am by no means trying to make light of the situation. Instead, I hope that through sharing experiences, we can bring something hopeful out of the last year. So, firstly, let me set the scene for you. In the National Trust this time last year, our 300 plus properties were closed to visitors. Approximately 80% of our staff were on furlough, and those who were left were being asked to work from home where possible. During this time, my main remit was supporting house staff to manage the environments within our historic houses across England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. With so many house staff now working from home, this really focused the minds of the IT department to develop and provide us with more training and support for our virtual meeting platform Webex. Although this had previously been an option, it was only when we had no alternative, when we couldn't just hop on a train and go to a property, that we really began to become more adept at it and use it to its full potential. For instance, if you had have asked me 2 years ago to set up a new Hanwell Synergy environmental monitoring system remotely without visiting site, I would have said it was impossible. But last year, I did just that twice. The first was a small property, just three sensors. This worked perfectly, thanks of course to the diligent staff member on site. But it boosted my confidence so much that I then tried again with a larger site, this time with 20 sensors. Although it took a little longer and a bit of back and forth over a few weeks to straighten out the wrinkles, it's now up and running just the same as it would have been if I had a visited site. Again, all thanks to the diligent house team. There were even some instances where I felt that the remote approach worked better than our usual approach of us sort of helicoptering in, solving the problem or giving advice, leaving again, and then writing a report on what we did or what we advised. Instead, the property staff were needing to be our eyes and give and get hands-on, describing things, answering questions, taking photos, and getting much more involved. In this respect, we are taking them with us on our decision making and problem solving journey. I feel it really helps to engage the house staff and give them a greater understanding of the issue and ultimately the solution. The second silver lining that has come from our newfound ability to work fluently with video calls is that there has allowed us to embark on a series of training webinars to help support the house teams. We were able to adapt training days that we would usually have done in person to a webinar format on topics such as emergency salvage, Hanwell Synergy for RH monitoring, mold and insect pests. We were even able to bring some interaction in remotely with quizzes and live Q&As with conservators. The feedback from this form of training was very positive, and many commenting that it even has advantages over the traditional classroom style training, as numbers are not limited and a whole house team could attend at the same time without having to travel. Although we do not envisage removing practical training altogether, especially with the nature of conservation being so hands on, we have taken away from this that online training and webinars do have their part to play going forward, and perhaps as inductions or introductory modules to a topic as a way of getting everyone on the same page before diving into the detail during a practical training day at a property. And finally, the third silver lining is the clarity and pragmatism brought about by the need to draw up a list of essential tasks for staff across the National Trust. In those early days of lockdown, it really was the bare minimum that we were looking at. Being asked to rapidly draw up this list did lead to a lot of focused and pragmatic discussions about what was essential, and this bolstered our resolve in that what so much of what we were already doing was indeed essential. However, it became clear that even just having a checklist of things that needed to be done each day or week or month by the staff was a real help, providing them with clarity and a sense of prioritization. We have seen issues resolved over the lockdown period that previously were ongoing for years, as staff just didn't have the headspace to investigate fully. This experience was echoed through other aspects of the collections care, and so going forward, we're working on an essential collections care and management toolkit for properties to help bring clarity to the many tasks that we are asked of them when caring for collections in historic houses. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy these little nuggets of positivity.